Hey guys, so today's video is faves and fails. I know I haven't been doing much makeup content or just any content in general on this channel because I was burnt out, and now I feel this new like motivation with makeup and stuff to like actually post content on here. It's not going to be just exclusively makeup because I feel like that's when I get burnt out, is just filming exclusively makeup content gets a little bit like repetitive. So I'll definitely be mixing in a few other things, but I think I'm back to doing makeup content every now and then. So we're going to start with the good old faves and fails because we're literally at the start of the month of December and we're running up to the end of the year, so I'm just gonna do faves from kind of like my last faves and fails, which is a while ago, probably a few months ago. So these are like ones that are very curated, like these are like my faves that I'm using right now. This is like what's working for me. A lot of it is on my face right now. It's just stuff that I've been using pretty much daily or whenever I'm doing my makeup. So let's just start with Complexion because I feel like that's where we need to start. My fave, like I've been using this thing. This was probably in my last faves and fails. I've been using this thing like crazy. It's complete, you can tell I love this. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I have it in the shade 1 Fair and everything is wiped off it. Like all of this, that used to be writing. Okay, so that's not on there anymore. I just love it. If you look pretty closely, I'm like pretty far down in the usage. I'd say I'm probably halfway through this thing, if not more. I use this every day. I use this basically under my makeup. The way I get on my face most of the time is I just dunk, spread it all over my cheek, dunk, spread it all over my cheek, and then dunk, spread on my forehead, nose, chin. I basically put it everywhere under my makeup, and then it gives like a beautiful, natural, glowy situation. And if I'm doing all cream products, I'll also use this as highlight over my makeup. And that's kind of how I use this. It's my favorite product. I think it's what makes my skin look super skin-like when I wear even like full coverage or matte foundations. This is like what gets me through the day, okay? Then my rediscovered fave is the Pat McGrath Labs Concealer. This is in L2. I have a few of these. I have a few shades. I think I have like L1, L5, L2. I have like a bunch of these. I get them on sale every single time. And I feel like for the longest time I was using the Glossier Stretch Concealer, which is still my favorite. But right now we're getting into the winter season, autumn winter vibes. And I feel like autumn winter I wear more full coverage, heavy makeup in a good way. Like not like heavy in a bad way, like heavy in a full glam kind of way. So my stretch concealer is being put aside until, you know, spring, summer. And I whipped this out and it's just the best concealer in this format. Like there is no concealer better than this one in this format. It's just this and my stretch concealer. Like if I could only have 2 concealers for the rest of my life, it'll be those 2. If I had to pick one between them, I would actually cry because I don't think I could. This one is just like full coverage. It's got like it sets down, but it doesn't look dry and cakey. It just blurs your skin. It looks amazing. It's just like the best thing to happen to concealers. And I think it's worth every single penny. Like if you can get this on a sale, Black Friday sales, Pat McGrath does seasonal sales as well. You can probably get 30%, 3 to 4 times a year. Stock up on these and then you'll be fine. I think it's amazing, actually. Then I'd say my next fave is this new discovery. People are talking about it and I was like, okay, fine, I'll get it. It's the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. So obviously you guys know that this has always been my favorite. I almost dropped it. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders, which are the ones that are like pressed and you use them as finishing powders. These are always my favorite, so I'm not even going to mention it again because it's like this and the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Perfecting Powder. I can't do my makeup without these 2 in my routine. There is nothing that I've tried that beats these. I've tried the Becca dupe for this. It just didn't cut it for me. And I tried many different dupes for this. I can't replace these. This right here makes or breaks my makeup look. So I'm not even going to mention these anymore. Like if you know me, you know these 2 are just there. They just, like this is starting to be on that level where like I'll stop mentioning it because this is going to be in every single fave because I can't do my makeup without this, okay? And then this is getting on the same level. So I feel like these are like becoming basics for me where I'm like, this has to be part of my routine. There's no other way around it. This is a new find, okay? So it's a loose powder. I like using loose powders as like the initial set under my eyes, T-zone area, a little bit of baking, and this is just the most natural looking blurring powder I've ever used. It is amazing. The sifter is a bit annoying, but it's not really that big of a deal. I feel like it dispenses a perfect amount for a full face of makeup. So it's got like that that's literally the only amount that it dispenses, but it's quite nice because it's like a dome and it kind of sits in there quite nicely, and the top like locks it in place. So I literally just, let me see if I can get out the perfect amount. So I just literally shake it like this, upside down, flip it over. And this is how much you get out. And I feel like this usually is enough to figure out my whole face. Please ignore my nail. It was an accident in the shower. I was trying to pump out shampoo, my nail slipped, cracked. I thought I was gonna faint. I have a bit of a phobia regarding nail injuries, and I was ready to faint. I've fainted before, not a long time ago, quite recently actually. I fainted because my nail started bleeding. Anyway, so these require some doing, mainly with this situation going on. Let's ignore that. Anyway, this is probably my favorite loose powder of all time. I've been trying to find a loose powder that I really enjoy. The Glossy Wilder is pretty high up there. The Colourpop setting powder is probably a really great dupe for kind of like drugstore pricing. Everything else, it's a little bit like, it's okay, but it's like not the best. So this so far is my favorite. Like if I could just use one loose setting powder, it'd be this, because I feel like it's just the most luxurious looking powder on your face. You can't detect it. Like it sits so perfectly on the face that you literally cannot tell where you set and where you didn't set. Yeah, like I baked under my eyes and they don't look creasy or dry or whatever. They just look bright and set. So there we go. I recently tried Kiko, and this is going to be a really weird fave considering I don't have one of the products anymore, which would insinuate that it's not a fave. But I feel like when you do makeup as a job, or when you have a collection as big as mine, you can really love a product and then still find it a more suitable home than your collection, fully well knowing, because you have other products that you're like even more obsessed with, but this is still like a really good product that I'd like to recommend for you guys. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a weird contradictory statement to make. Anyway, I've kept 2 of the products, but one of them I've given away, and I'll explain why. So Kiko has these complexion products. They released these for some kind of a, this is the Charming Escape collection, I'm pretty sure, and it just comes in this like beautiful like floral packaging, and they had a blush, they had highlights, they had a few things. Anyway, I kept the bronzer and the highlight. This is 01 Tender Honey. It's just like a silky bronzer. I've been using it lately. It's what I'm wearing on my face today. And then they had blushes and a highlight. I'm putting up the bronzer because I think the bronzer is like my favorite product out of the collection. But the blush and the highlight were also really stunning. I think the highlight is like a really nice dupe for like Charlotte Tilbury or even Pat McGrath. Like I think it gave a really good silky glowy look to the face. But I gave away the blush to my mum because I have a lot of blushes, and I have a blush in that same shade from Nabla, which I actually prefer a little bit, but I still think Kiko for the pricing. I've never tried Kiko before. I think Kiko for the pricing is amazing. So I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to the product. Even though I didn't keep the blush, I think it's a great blush if you want to try it. It just didn't have a place in my collection because I'm trying to cut down on my collection and my spending habits. So it doesn't have a place in my collection, but I still think it's a great product if you guys need a almost like high-end version of drugstore makeup. I think Kiko fits that perfectly. The packaging is kind of luxurious for the pricing, because I feel like with brands like Physicians Formula, the pricing is high for drugstore, but the packaging is just not it. NYX also has pretty high pricing for the drugstore with subpar packaging. I think Kiko is in that same pricing realm as Physicians Formula and NYX, but the packaging is really cute. The formulas are amazing. They feel high-end, they look high-end. I feel like this looks like the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer on the skin, so if you needed a bit of a dupe, it's really nice. It's got this beautiful like embossing. I think these powder products are really great, and I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out. But I wanted to give the disclaimer that I don't have the blush anymore because it just quite simply did not fit my collection anymore. But I still think it's a great blush if you guys need it. If you're looking for powder products, Kiko does it pretty well for the drugstore. My favorite blush though, so Hourglass released this Ghost Lighting Edit Ghost palette. It's the 6-pan, and I think this is the 2018 edition, 2018, 2017. One of these. This came out ages ago. It is beaten up. Like it is beaten up. Look at it. It's scratched up. It's ugly. And look at this. I just want to, that's how much I loved this palette. So these two were the powders that come in this, just in 2 different shades. They came in Dim Light and Diffuse Light. Then we had the bronzer in Eternal Bronze Light. Really love that one. And then you get 2 blushes and 1 highlight. The highlight is the Iridescent Strobe Light. Is this one. I quite like it. It's not my favorite, but it's also not the worst. I think it looks quite natural. I'm wearing it on my skin today. I think it looks pretty natural. This blush is a little bit deep for me sometimes, but it looks fine. It's the Strobe Blush in Iridescent Rose, but my favorite blush is this one right here. I don't know if you can see it. And they actually released this in a single because it was so loved in this palette that they actually released it in a single, and you can still buy it. It is in the shade Sublime Flush. It's the perfect blush for someone of my skin tone with my undertones, with the blue eyes and the platinum blonde hair. I feel like the cool toneness of this looks really nice, but still natural, and it doesn't look too Barbie and weird and like tacky, but it looks just nice with, I guess, like the cool tonedness of my eyes and my hair. It doesn't like clash. So if you needed a cool toned but yet natural looking blush, Sublime Flush from Hourglass still remains one of my favorite blushes of all time. I think the formula is great, and just like the tone of it is just really nice and quite flattering. So that's that on that. So I recently obviously had Black Friday shopping done, and I'm going to be posting a Black Friday haul soon, but I'm just going to mention these as my favorites, even though I've only used them for probably 2 weeks. I just know they're my favorites. I've used all of these shades every single day since these products came out. I've used them. So actually I've probably used these more than some palettes I've had for a year. So the amount of time that I've had this for doesn't determine how I feel about it, because I've used these every single day. I've used every single one of these shades multiple times on my eyes. I like to mix and match. I'm wearing them today. I'm wearing 3 different shades today. And like I said, I've dipped my fingers multiple times into these. So I just know that I love them and I can recommend them with confidence. This is the Rowan Quads that they released. I have one more coming on the way. That's how much I love these. I bought these 3. Forgot to buy the 4th one, and I ordered it separately because I was like, I need the whole collection. And they have, I think, 2 more coming out. You can add them to your wish list on Cult Beauty, but I can't buy them yet. And I will be when they come out, because these are amazing. They're essentially cream products, but they're that like blend between cream and powder, almost Super Shock Shadow vibes, but a little bit less creamy, a little bit more chunky in like a really weird way. These have very mixed reviews online. So on Cult Beauty, some people give it 5 stars for like the best cream eyeshadows of all time, and then some people say 1 star because they can't figure out how to use them. And it's people saying like, oh, I've tried every single brush that I have. Use your fingers. It's a cream product. Just use your fingers, please. And you can tell how dirty I've already made these. I love them. Okay, so this one is 75. These have really weird names. I get very confused on the website. It's just number 75. And it has these 4 shades. It's like a rusty looking situation. And all of them have 3 chunky shades that feel a little bit more dry. And then they have 1 super emollient smooth shade with slight sparkle going through it. So there's 2 formulas, but it's split 3-1. I prefer the chunky formula, but I think the thin formula is super nice for every day. I used it recently. I used this shade with just bronzer in the crease, and it looked so good. So natural, so good. But these are just like popping on your eyes. So which ones did I use on my eyes today? I actually used 4 eyeshadows today on my eyes. Okay, hold on. Let me just try and figure this out. Okay, so I also have 52, which is this cool toned one, which is just beautiful. Like, it's just great. Then I have Mood Forever, which is this one. And I used this one kind of on the outer edge. Then I used this one from 52 on the inner third. But then I realized it was a little bit too cool toned for how warm toned this look is. So then, oopsie, I went into 75 and I used this gold one over the top and then just blended it out a little bit. And then, if you thought I was done, I'm not. I went into Mood Forever again and I used this smooth cream, non-chunky shadow, and I just used it in the inner corner and on my brow bone, and that's how I created this look. The thing about these, they're not difficult to use, but you just have to be a little bit more patient. Why does that one look red, but it's actually copper in person? Anyway, you have to be quite specific in the way you use them. They're cream eyeshadows, but they set down like powder shadows, and they end up, if you use too much in one spot, they will become that weird foil on your lid that just emphasizes all your texture. So you have to be very like careful to not overuse them, and if you do overuse them, just use a dry clean finger and just spread it out a little bit to just get some of the excess off, because it's going to look a little bit like textured skin. But these are just so stunning. I feel like yeah, this is what I needed in my life. I'm not even being dramatic. Like, these are just like, look at these. This one just shifts from copper to red for some reason on camera. I don't know. And then let me just show you this cream shadow. It's just super smooth, very like creamy, but look at it. Oh my god. So yeah, I'm obsessed with these shadows. I've tried them all many times. I've figured out how to use them now. So I'm here to report that these are, in fact, in my opinion, worth every single penny. I hate to be that person to be like, oh my god, it's so worth the money, but it is. Oh my god, I'm making a mess here. They're creamy, so you have to be careful because they do get a little bit messy. As you can see, look at this blue one. We love a good blue. Look at it. Look at it. Very pretty, very messy. They have like different formulas going on, so you just have to figure it out. Some are a little bit softer, some are a little bit more dry. It just depends on the shade that they were going for. Look at this one right here. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit obsessed with them. So anyway, they look very expensive on the eyes. They give you almost that like editorial look. And because they're not powder and they are that like cream blend, they don't flake at all. You don't get any glitter fallout on your face, even though you get that like chunky look on the eyes, you don't get any fallout on your face. So once you put them on your eye, if you just want to blend the edges, you can go in with a fluffy brush and then just blend over the top, and they're not gonna fall out. So it's just great. Like, I love this formula. These are like my favorite cream slash just shimmery eyeshadows right now. I just think they look so good. So I'm waiting for my fourth one, like I said, and I'll be ordering more of these. I think they're just so good. So good. This packaging is going to get really messy because I just dig in. But yeah, I don't have a favorite. You just have to kind of figure out what shade selection you're going for. This one is very cool toned. There's some warm toned ones. Just go on the website and pretty much what you see is what you get. They're pretty true to the pictures. But yeah, so just figure out if you're more cool toned, more warm toned, pink, coppery, that kind of a thing. Pick one and then just enjoy yourself. Because you can pair these with like matte eyeshadows or just bronzer, blush in the crease, and then just add these on top, and I think they look really nice. I also recently, because of Black Friday, ordered some Viseart shadows, but I've used Viseart before and I just wanted to shout out the formula again because I think it's just great. I think the mattes are where Viseart shines, definitely not shimmers. I think the shimmers are fine, but they're not like super special. I have this one, which I actually recommend. This is the old Viseart packaging. So they used to make these super like professional use makeup, and I remember Tati used to recommend these. So this is the Neutral Mattes 01, and I just love this one. I think you don't need any of the other ones in this packaging. I think this one is really the only one you need. All the rest of them are quite repetitive because you get these transition shades on top with a creamy white. You get a black in the corner, you get a cool toned row and a warm toned row with transition shades. I think it's everything you need in one palette. It goes quite deep, it goes super light. You can move them around, you can take them out, put them back in. This one is where I think Viseart shines. But if you do want a few shimmer shadows because you don't like all matte palettes, these little ones I recommend. They have even smaller ones that I really enjoy, but this one is just my favorite that I bought recently. It's the Mink Set one. This is what it looks like. You just have 16 shades. There's a few shimmers, a few mattes. It's really pretty, but I do think the mattes is where Viseart shines, so just get this one in my opinion. But if you do want shimmers, these ones in the cardboard packaging are really nice. They have quads, they have 16 pan smaller ones, they have 8 pan ones. I just think they're super nice, but the matte formula is chef's kiss. Lips, what's always on my lips? It's pretty much exclusively Charlotte Tilbury nowadays. I just think it looks expensive, but it looks flattering and it looks nice. I love the lip cheats, and I like the lip cheat in Pillow Talk. I have the mini version, but I also have full-size ones of this. If you guys don't know about Pillow Talk, get to know. This is Pillow Talk just original. They also have Pillow Talk medium and Pillow Talk intense. They also have this mini size of Pillow Talk, another mini size, and a full size of Pillow Talk. This one I am like almost finished with, and it's just that perfect like nudie pink. So that's what I'm wearing on my lips today with the Pillow Talk, these lip glosses in the shimmery caps. I think they're called like jewel lips, bejeweled lips. I love them. I have them in 2 full sizes in a different shade, and then this is the mini that I have in Pillow Talk that I got recently. I've mentioned these before because I have the full sizes, but this Pillow Talk one is incredible. Let me just slather on my hand. Honestly, look at it. It's so shimmery, so sheeny shiny, just looks great. And I love the mini sizes. You can get these mini sets on sale in most places now, and I just think the minis are so cute and so just easy to throw into a bag. But you guys do know that instead of Pillow Talk, sometimes if I don't want as pink and I just want a nudie pink, I love Very Victoria. It's my favorite. I already have a backup. I've used up a mini of this in full. This is my full size one that I'm like on the way to finishing, and I also have another full size of this. So this is definitely my favorite lipstick of all time, and I'm just gonna put it here. It's not super different from Pillow Talk, but I feel like it's a little bit less pink. Am I making that up? Anyway, on the lips, it looks less pink and more nude, whereas Pillow Talk looks very pink, as you can see, like it's very pink. So anyway, these are my favorite lip combos, and this is all I wear, essentially. So now I've been getting rid of lipstick because I'm like, look, if this is like my obsession, why do I need 1,000 nudes that I'm never gonna wear because I love this? So I'm starting to get rid of some lipsticks, you know, decluttering, doing that whole thing, because I just think if you find a good thing, stick with it. You know, last favorite for today's video is this holiday launch by Charlotte Tilbury. She released 2 of these palettes, but this one's my favorite. Just depends what shade selection you like. This is the Luxury Palette of Pearls in Celestial Pearl. This one is my favorite because I'm very pale, and I think the other one is a little bit deep for an everyday natural look. And it's this, it's all shimmers of just different formulas. So you have this one, which is just, I don't know, it's just like a smooth shimmer that I like to use on the inner corner. Then we have this one, which is her usual glimmery formula. It's kind of like a topper shade more than anything. It looks quite disappointing in the swatches, but it looks nice as just a topper shade. It's her usual formula, as you can see. Then she has this really smooth formula. It's this one, and I basically use this one in the crease with a fluffy brush because it doesn't fall out with shimmer. It's just more like a satiny shade. And then for the first time, she's got this weird duochrome formula, and it's this one, and that's what makes or breaks this palette. Like, I just love this shade right here, and I think you can basically create a full look with just shimmer shades, and that's not easy to do for any brand. I feel like some brands, if they do it or attempt it, it looks bad and tacky and textured and not flattering. But Charlotte Tilbury just manages to make an all shimmer palette super wearable and natural and nice, and it makes you look really expensive and classy, and I think it's just really nice. So yeah, these are very expensive, but I actually really enjoy it, and I use it all the time. As you can see from how, let me open it again, from how messy it is, I use it all the time since I got it. So this is another fave for eyeshadows. Now, fails. There aren't a lot, there are two, and these are fails that have kind of been failing me for a few months now, at least. And one of them used to be a fave, and I don't know if it's my skin or I just was blinded by the price tag, but the Chantecaille Cushion Foundation. So let's start with the fact that this is £120. You get 2.5, almost 0.42 fluid ounces of insert. So this is my second insert that I put in recently because I used up the first one. It's like this, you know, you have the sponge on top, and then you have the, I'm not going to open it because this is a new one. I've never opened it, and I don't want air to get inside because these things dry out like crazy. I opened one of them, I used it for like 2 weeks, and then I left it for probably a month, and I came back to it and probably half of the foundation was gone. And I ended up using it for maybe a month, and then it was done. So I'm leaving this second insert unopened for when I actually want to continue using it. Right now my skin doesn't really like this foundation, so I'll apply it, set it normally, you know, do everything, and then by 3 hours later, I just have these like lines everywhere. It just ages me so badly. It's not super full coverage either, so like it's not supposed to be heavy, and it just looks really heavy. So maybe summertime when my skin's a little bit more moisturized, I can start using this again. I did buy this in the summertime, so maybe that's why I liked it back then. Right now, it's not doing it for me, so I'm not even going to open it. Obviously, I'm not going to open this bit here, this flap, because I don't want oxygen to get in because it wasted my first insert. This doesn't last you a very long time. It doesn't look much better than other foundations, and it's £120. So let's say how it is. It's just not worth it, okay? And my fail for eyeshadow palettes, which other people seem to love, I just don't really like this one. It's the most recent Instant Eye Palette by Charlotte Tilbury. I have 4 of these. I have the Pillow Talk, the silver packaging one, the navy packaging one, and then this one is the most recent one that came out for the holidays. And I just don't like it at all. So these are the shades. You get a black, which at this point, I think adding black eyeshadows into eyeshadow palettes just makes no sense to me. The only way you can really use them is by making like eyeliner, like that's for eyeliner. If you want to deepen up your look, deepen up with like a really, really deep brown. Unless you really, really have to, then yeah, you can use a black. But I think a lot of the times a really deep brown creates a more seamless blend. And I think black is a little bit difficult to use, mainly when it's this pigmented. It's just very difficult to use. Unless you love black eyeshadow, you're going to hate that one eyeshadow was wasted on black eyeshadow, because I think this deep brown is a lot more user friendly. It actually looks a lot deeper in person than on camera. I'm not sure why. This is really, really deep. It's not actually far off from the black, and I feel like it's much easier to use than a black eyeshadow. These shimmers are really nice, okay? These shimmers are 10 times better than the shimmers in the previous Instant Look palette, even though those were already really nice. These are really nice shimmers, really, really nice shimmers. But the mattes are what give me a headache, okay? You have this super white shade as well. So you have the super white and the super black, which I think is just a waste of 2 eyeshadows. We could have had a transition shade and a deep, deep, super deep chocolatey brown, and that would have been much more user-friendly for majority of people. But yeah, I just don't think we need this. I don't think we need this. I think if you really like black eyeshadow, you can always buy yourself a nice single shadow that you can use with all your other eyeshadow palettes. I say that this has a black eyeshadow and a cream eyeshadow, but I feel like that's the purpose of this. This is supposed to be professional makeup. This is supposed to cover all the bases. And I feel like these two don't waste space. Like, they fit with the scheme, but I feel like in this palette, these two are a waste of space. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, these give different vibes. This requires a black and a white. This doesn't. So yeah, I just don't think they're necessary. Then you randomly just have this like khaki transition shade and then nothing else. And then you have this random copper shade for mattes, this random deep brown, and that's it. Like, I just don't really see how you can create a cohesive look with this in any way, shape or form. You have all these beautiful shimmers. Like, you have this like pink shimmer and this white shimmer, and then you have this green shimmer and another green shimmer, and then you have some coppery shimmers and some gold, and then you have this like random purple, but you have nothing, no mattes to wear them with. I just don't really like this palette. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I kept it because I love the shimmers and I'm probably gonna use them, but the mattes, this color story just baffles me a little bit, because all the other palettes you can create 4 cohesive looks. With this, I don't even think I can scrape together 1, let alone 4. Okay, because you're supposed to be able to do 4 looks with these. That's why they're split up into trios. How am I supposed to create a... Okay, let's be honest now, okay? This is 4 looks, 1 palette, okay? Please tell me what look I'm supposed to create with this. It's a cream eyeshadow with 2 shimmer shades. This is what I mean by that cream eyeshadow is just a waste of space, because these are supposed to be 4 trios in 1 palette. That's how all the other palettes are set up, where it's like you can use these for different occasions, right? Like, you're telling me a black eyeshadow with a deep brown eyeshadow with a purple shimmer is the look we're going for? The only one that makes cohesive sense, well, this one here with the copper and gold, that makes some sense, and the green makes some sense. This makes no sense to me, and this makes no sense to me. So let's just ignore that one ever happened. Okay, it's disappointing. That is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time I think of something to do. So hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links and the links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.